Welcome back, part 7, continuing on with this. Now I've added a few things. I kind of mentioned that in other posts that I've been making. One being this background here. I'll put a colour underneath, gives you that better. That's a readily available one. As I said, I didn't do it. I've had it sitting around for years. I don't tend to use them very often, but this one has. I've also got a blue base image. That's the black one I've been working off. Blue's got a little bit more detail I stumbled across. But it's and I've seen a few different angles of this. It's a very bulbous type crystal on it. So it's I've decided to run with that. And this background here is purely, I think I told you I've imported this. If I go color curves, no I won't. Colorize. This is the one I use as a base image. Oops, like this. Okay, that's not going to do it. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Okay, I've just downloaded it again. It's that one there. All I've actually done is reduced it down. If I remove that, actually I'll put this up here so you can see it. There you go. So that's full screen. All I've done is reduced it down or scale it down in size, just because there's I find, just show you that as a matter of interest. See, that's too far, but I've reduced it down just inside here. It scales all this down in line. I find if you leave that full size, when you've got, you know, that part of the face sitting over it with a bezel or a case or whatever, that it throws this a little bit out of whack. So I scale it down, and all I've actually done is added colour to it. I think that's about all I did, something like that, made it dark. Just so I can see what I'm doing. Now what I will do on the build, on the final build, I'll remove that, have that sitting in Watchmaker, because this is the one I want to play around with colour. There's a blue, there's a black, and there's a grey. So just to put you in the picture, that's why I've just added this. Now these two here, this is obviously the logo. Now I must admit I did spend time doing this. This face, I mean, there's a couple of things that stand out, and that is one of them for me. And of course, this font is not available. I cannot find this anywhere. So what I've done, let me open this untitled file that I had with text and fonts and things on it. I found one called Streetwear. 71 was the size. That's what it gave me. And all I've really done is copied that, dropped it back over the top of this, and manipulated it. You'll actually see, you can see I've changed the R, changed the T, I've changed the A dramatically. It was the A I really wanted to do, and I've done that. If I come down, I'm pretty sure I saved it. If I undo that and that, sorry, come down here. There it is there, there's a slight shadow underneath, get rid of that. Layer 12, there it is there. Now that's it, and it's plain white format, nothing done to it. Changed that to grey, done a bevel and emboss. I've shown you this before, and I've kept it basically as a spare, and then just added a slight shadow, drop shadow 12775. It just seemed to be about what seemed about right. That's how I come up with that. But I must admit, I spent probably a good hour, hour and a half just manipulating this to get it to that point. I didn't want it highly glossy, because if you look at this, it's not really a grey, it's not a high lot of gloss on this face. So that just gets you back up to speed of where I've got to. So now I'll continue to use the black one at the moment. New layer. What I'll start doing is adding these hour and minute markers here. I'll take some measurements. Now there's a slight, this is interesting actually, there's a slight reflective ring, I suppose you'd call it, and that's what these are. This is reflecting off this. I sometimes do them. Here I might show you how I do it. I tend to put a chrome background ring around here, dull it down because it's quite dark, and then just for your interest, you may never have looked at this sort of detail, but this reflection here is a continuation from the center. It looks a little weird, but that's it there. See, it intersects this point here, very close to it. And the reason I tell you that, because if you measure this, that's about 73, this will be wider, it's about 82 for that reason. It's just not that reproduced, it's the continuation of the line. That's why these are slightly wider than this, etc. That is wider than that. Now, I don't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I kind of get that sort of detail correct, but I blur it out anyway. To me, that's a little bit sharp. I like it a bit blurrier than that because it is purely a reflection. So anyway, we sort of digress a little bit. All I really wanted to do was measure that. That's about 28 would do, and it'll come from, you can see the point is about there, 28 by about 140. Tend to take it from somewhere else and check it at 150 there. It's a little bit hard to tell because it's actually probably 150 would do, and it's got this glass or this crystal over it which is throwing this a little bit out here as well. So about 150 will do, and roughly you can see a definite break there, about 20 out from the edge. So what I do, move one of your guides, I'll move that 20 out roughly. This is once again where I just, oh there you go, good, no, 21 actually, I think that was. Yes it was, move that up. Get another one of these because we don't need them. Don't need them up there, sorry. Measure down about 178, that's too much. About 150 will be about there. 152, come up a little. We're talking pixels here, so it's not highly important. And I forgot what I said width-wise. It's about 26. So remove that. Now I'll just draw a box. 26 or 13 either side of center. Once again, as you probably notice, I'm taking everything off at 12 o'clock. I'm going to round those because from memory, ever so slightly round corners, about 3, so it's not a lot. I will make sure that's active, infill that. Well, what I can quickly do, I sometimes do, is just see if I've got the width about right. May not line up here, not overly worried about that at this point. That's not bad, I can live with that. So all I need to do is Control C, V, Control C then Control V, sorry. This will come from the center. Click off that, click on that. I find that just as easy. I'll rotate it 30 degrees. Click off it. Just Control V to activate this again. Go into rotate. Make that 60%. Control V. I'll actually just explain something. 90%. Not sure if I touched on this, but if you're doing minute markers, is perhaps a good example, and you do about the first 5. You just keep Control C'ing and V'ing that whole 5 and then drop it 30 degrees, drop another 30 degrees. It does tend to degrade every time you do it, particularly when you do it on the reverse side. Don't know why, just this is the way GIMP is. So quite often I will do up to about 90 degrees, whether it be these 5-minute markers or minute markers. I'll do that whole section, then reproduce it, gives you a better quality. And you can also, as I think I've shown you before, Control C, which will copy all of that, Control V, as you can see, it'll highlight those. Let me get rid of this from behind because it's confusing it. Now you can do it several different ways. You can rotate the whole thing as you want to do it. You want to do it another 90 degrees because you're doing that 90, so you want to rotate it another 90, so you can do it that way. I'll just undo that. Or you can, they're still highlighted, you can do layer, transform, flip horizontally. You can do it that way. Doesn't ever seem to be a whole lot of difference with that. It just, I know it doesn't like if you're dropping one back 30, back 60, back 90. It doesn't particularly like it. Anyway, so I'll Control C, Control V. I find this quicker. Layer of, oops, transform, flip vertically. So that's those. Different layer. It's always better. Once again, you can merge these later if you like. Now I know these are the same length but very narrow. A slightly rounded end. I'll guess around 6. This you have to play around with a little bit because they can be. You can hide that just for the moment, but we're working in this layer above. Now if I do that 6, so 3 either side, you can see it's very narrow, and it is narrow. Oh, that's not badly rounded. That's 3. Yeah, I can live with that. I'll fill that. Now that's not bad, I think. Just, yeah, that's pretty good. Yep, that's good. I can live with that as well. So Control C, Control V, and of course these are every 6 degrees. Because 6 5s are 30. So just let me, it's a bit boring, so then you go 12 degrees. So I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, now what I've done, as you can see, I've left out, ignore these because these aren't lining up with the 30, 60 or 90 because it's that weird scale, whatever it is. And as you can see, there's no point doing them here, but no point doing these here because they'll be covered by those 30, 60, 90 or 5-minute intervals, whichever way you want to look at it. So I just get rid of that. I leave that one there at the moment. Control C, Control V, layer, transform, flip horizontally, and Control C, Control V, layer, transform, flip vertically. Now I just get the eraser, just take that one out, and there'll be one at the bottom. Now you can see that's the minute markers running around the face. It's fairly simple. We come back here. There are some more that need to be removed. As you can see, there is none over that. There's only 3. There'll be 3. Yes, I had a feeling that may happen. So all I can do is we'll just draw a box around that one. Go there. Draw another box around that. You can rub these out, whichever way I prefer to do it. Sometimes I do it this way so I don't leave any fragment put behind, which I have done. Okay, and then this side, of course, whoops, will be what is actually there. There's the first one, and then that subdial is put over it. So I'll remove all of those. There we go. So that's basically it ready. Now I'll show you how to do this little blurred. Oh, no, I won't do it now because I need to actually put these in first. Okay. I'm just going to drop that under there for the moment. Now I need to do these. So these are kind of interesting. That I think. Now, just draw a circle. I should have checked this perhaps before I started, but it doesn't. Yeah, okay. They're not rounded. They're actually squared across the end. Most definitely. Okay. So I'm just referring to these. They're very square. Sometimes these are rounded here. The blue one's probably even better to eat up. Now it's got a weird, I don't know what's happening there. That's a bit blurred, but it's a better example. Basically, it's just rounded on that edge, and then it's somewhat metallic hard to tell what's going on there because of that reflection. But see, it's quite interestingly, that's very much just square. Yet on that one it's not, which I kind of prefer, so I'll probably take it off that. So initially this, you can see this one and this one are the same size, that's smaller, so I'll have to do these first. So all I do, this may not be exactly square on the face, but this will get me the length. You can flick those off. As you can see, I've just done that. I really just want the length of it is about there, because this is not central. There's a center line, you can see that and that are different. So all we will do is measure this gap. I'll find a better point. The shadow there needs to be an even number because GIMP can't do half numbers, believe it or not. 64, so we need about 32 either side. That is the inside. 25, 32, 25, 32. That will be correct. Each of these are about 76 wide at the base. It'll be about there somewhere. 73. 76. As you see, if I move the background, that, which I didn't really bother about when I cut it out, I have to admit, I just did it before I started this. 76. Just for your own interest, something I do quite often because it's easier. Save you measuring that every time. If you just try to duplicate it, draw a box, take it across to the center. It's actually quicker than getting the measuring tool out. You've got to do it once, but not twice. That's it there. Now the top will be about 38. So let me check that one. I'm assuming it'll allow for that corner, because that corner has to come off. Yeah, about 38, it's not bad. So I will once again just drag a line out of there. It'll be about there somewhere. 5, 7, 8, about 38. It's not bad. From the center. Don't have to do it that way, just me cheating a bit. There you go, so that's basically the scale of it. There's some round corners there I need to sort out. If I draw just one side of this, then I can manipulate it from there, basically. I have to pretend like you didn't see me do this, but I sometimes. That's not bad. Don't have to do that. Now, new layer again. That may not be quite where I want it this way. It certainly is this way, but we'll sort that out in a minute. Just white, any colour. Actually, I'll pick the grey because I'm probably going to end up the colour anyway, or close to it. Same as these. These are not the correct colour. I'm going to change those. Now, if I go back to my image of blue, get a rough idea of the. It's not bad. What size is that? It's about 13 by 13. Which is a bit of an odd. I'll make that 14. I can expand that one, that back in again, and then I can drag that around where I want it. That even needs to be a little wider, I think, there. That'll do for that one. Make that active. Control I. Remove. I'll scale that down. Way too big. Normally do it about 5 there. Control I. Now, I think I will make that even larger. That's not bad. So all I do, the two intersecting points, which is there and there, it's going to make it slightly narrower. I thought that would do that. Just take this excess off the outside. Control I just to invert that back so you can move it. Now I'm pretty sure, yes, that's a tiny little out there. You can see why I've picked that one. It's this excess on the outside of the circle I'm looking at that I want to get rid of. Control I, erase that. And I think this one's probably even a bit smaller. There's not much of a curve on that at all. I'll go there. Really is just messing about. Oops. See, I've gone too far, got too close to that edge. That's all I want to do. So that's basically it. That will do. As I said, that's a better idea of what I'm trying to do. But so what I might even, while I'm here, I can take a sample of that colour. I'll go fairly light, and then about that grey. So if you push Control, sorry, you can see what I'm doing here. If that's just left mouse button there, which I want a bit lighter, and if I go Control and left mouse button, it fills up this background colour, and it will pick up wherever you're looking at. I want it a bit dark. Try that. Make that, don't want quite so pink. About there. Okay, so what I do, if we make that the active layer, draw a box over that. About the reflective area is about there. Give or take. Now, go bilinear. See what I'm doing? Here you go. Now, if you reverse these, that's quite an odd look. But you'll find that's a smaller version. That's what I'm doing. Gives you this. I'll make that a little, I'll make that actually white, I think. I'm just going backwards to get rid of those. And if you go straight linear, not bilinear, if you go linear, it'll adjust from that colour to that colour. But I actually want it to appear as though it's rounded off. So you can go for about the centre. And what you can also do is go a bit further. No, it's not quite right. It is purely trial and error. Not quite right. And what we'll probably have to do, what's wrong with that though? I need to do that as a new layer over the top. We're going to go darker. Definitely needs to be darker. So I'll be able to try that. There's no easy way to do this. I'm not really. What I'm going to do here, I'll show you what I have to do. Oops, there. Come back to make that the active. Control I, delete the excess off that. That's all I was doing. Now, keep those colours. What I'll do is I will point from there. Control C. Pull that out. Go back up here. Control V. So that's all it's done. Now if we go linear, I don't want to buy that. Actually, light's coming from that way, so I'll do something like that. So maybe not quite so dark down there. Somewhere in between. It really is just trial and error. Don't mind that. Just play with that a little more. I'll reverse that. And we'll go from here. Which is a better way of doing it, because it'll be quite light this side, because that's the way the light is catching it. And see, what's interesting is the one at the top probably have to be reversed, but anyway, I'll play with that in a minute. So you can see what I've done. There's the original one, there's that, there's that. So taking that underneath does nothing, so you can merge those two together, you'll end up with that as a finished. Except what I will do is come back here. I don't actually like that, that's actually not right. Come back, so it's a matter of undoing a whole bunch of things, but it's the easiest way to do it. So if I highlight that, I think oops, back to front, idiot. Get rid of those. Quite right. What I'll actually do to make that darker, that's kind of where the problem lies. Idiot. Okay, that's not bad, but what I'll do, just trying to make that a little darker there. Okay, I'll come back and cut that for a moment. As you take this excess off, so if I just take a copy of that, be the easiest way to do it. Control C, come up here, add a new layer, Control V. I'll show you what happens. There you go, leave it bilinear, what it will actually. You can also do this, don't really like, but you can. So basically what I do, it's linear, foreground to background, so it really, and that'll need to be reversed. Try to do that. You can also, play around on angles. You can see what it tries to do, which I don't mind. But it's too dark down here, so I've got to start further out somewhere. Maybe even further than that. Something like that, that's not bad. Let me just... Oops, that is a mistake. Once you do that, you can't do anything with it. Start again here, up to there, up to there. There, print that, invert that, delete that off. Don't mind. I will merge that down. Control C, Control V. Layer transform, flip horizontally. That becomes the pair of those. There you go. That marker there needs to come out as well. I just noticed that. It'll be the same there, same there. Not sure how I missed that before. But that's no biggie at all. If we just go back down to there, delete that. Oops. Didn't make it active. Or the active layer, that one is. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Presume that's what I had to do. Delete that. Yep, I did. Sort of do that while I was there. Now we go Control C, Control V, transform vertically. Let's see, that's what it does. You can probably get away with that, but these theoretically should be inverted because the light will be coming this way, it'll be getting darker as it goes down. And I'll show you actually how to do that while I'm here. I'll just go backwards, it'll be easier. Do a lot of this before I merge those two together. That's what I was after. That there. Now, it's going to look a bit weird, but this is how I do it. Control C, Control V. Actually, just Control C, new layer, Control V. There it is there. I'll just drag that out of the row. I'll take sample of that colour, and I will reverse that like so. Light's actually going to be coming from there. I'm doing this, it's going to be inverted up there, so I have to, that will be correct that way. The light's going to be coming from that way. Slightly. So I'll just leave that there. That's just there in its own right. That's fine. Now, if I go, and this will be the easiest way to do this. Control C, Control V. Transform, flip horizontally. Control C, V, layer, transform, flip vertically. That's those there, as you can see, except what I will do is then go make that the active one, Control C, Control V, layer, transform, flip vertically. And now I can just drag that over there. What I would actually do, to be quite honest, is delete these. I'll just put a line there because it'll leave a slight outline. I'll delete those off there. Oops. Make that the active layer, delete those. Take Control C, come back to this one, Control V. Is this correct? The right line? Yes, it is. And then Control V, put another one, and then layer, transform, flip horizontally, and that's all it does. The light's the same, just flips it over the other way. There. Get rid of that, doesn't need to be there. Now, I know what I've done there, that's a mistake. My fault. It's copying the whole thing. Didn't even realise it was doing it. That's weird. Weird. Now if I just do that, Control C, come back onto this one. It's better. Control V. That's weird. Didn't even notice it doing that. Put it there. copy of that, Control C, Control V, layer, transform horizontally. That will be there. Correct. Don't really even need that layer anymore. I'll just hide that down there. Right. See, that's the light coming from there. Hence it's dark. Light coming from there. Now I'll come back here. Control C, V, layer, transform horizontally. There's one there. And then Control C, V, layer, transform vertically. And then now will be some up there. I can merge those two together. And there's basically the top and bottom markers. This one will be done exactly the same way, but just a smaller version. Now, are they even in? I've taken it from there, so they will be about the correct. Yet that one looks like it's even higher. I don't quite understand. Once again, not enough detail in these. There's the height of it there, which is 150 something. No, 318. I go 318 is about there. Apparently that is empty. That'll be as empty as that, okay? So that's probably a fair indicator that that's about the point there, and that's about our point there. And that's alright. There's an unusual gap there. I don't really know why. It doesn't serve any purpose. Anyway, that is the way it is. I've just got a look at the time and it's about 35 minutes. I don't like making these for quite that long. So I'll call it quits there. I'll get back to you on the next episode. Bye.